I never thought betrayal could taste like cheap coffee and fluorescent lights, but there I was, choking it down in the break room of my own goddamn company. My husband, ex-husband now, in my mind, had just screamed at me to pack my shit and leave, calling me a foolish little secretary who couldn't hack it in the real world. The next morning, when the swap reversed and he saw me striding into the boardroom in my power suit, his face drained of color like he'd swallowed his own lies whole. It started with a kiss, the kind that lingers too long in the hallway, his hand on her waist, my waist now, like he owned it. I watched from across the open-plan floor, trapped in this borrowed skin, my heart pounding not with jealousy, but with the cold calculus of revenge. That's when I knew I'd burn it all down, starting with the empire he thought he'd stolen from under me. The hum of the air conditioning in Harpertech's headquarters was a constant drone, like the low buzz of a hive plotting its queen's demise. I'd built this place from a garage startup in Palo Alto to a billion-dollar AI juggernaut, algorithms that predicted market crashes before the suits on Wall Street even buttoned their shirts. Neural nets that could read a man's micro-expressions and know if he was lying about loving you. Irony, right? Because mine hadn't seen the affair coming until it slapped me in the face, literally in Emma's face. Emma Klein was my executive assistant, 28 to my 42, all sharp bob haircut and sharper ambition. She scheduled my meetings, anticipated my coffee order, 2 pumps vanilla latte, no foam, and whispered updates in my ear during investor calls. Harmless, I thought. Efficient. Until the experimental swap. It was my pet project, buried in R&D, a neural interface called EchoLink, designed to let executives empathize with employees by temporarily linking consciousnesses. Swap minds for a shift. Feel the grind from the cubicle trenches. I greenlit it as a PR stunt, a way to humanize the C-suite in an era of remote work and quiet quitting. What better way to test it than on myself? 1 week in Emma's body, incognito, to see if my underlings were as miserable as the Glassdoor reviews claimed. The procedure was a breeze, headset on, electrodes humming, a quick jolt like biting a 9-volt battery. Lights out and boom. I woke up staring at water-damaged ceiling tiles in the women's restroom on the 3rd floor, my hands, her hands, small and manicured, nails painted a defiant red. Emma's reflection blinked back at me in the smudged mirror. Wide green eyes, freckles across the nose, lips that always seemed on the verge of a smirk. I was her now, down to the chipped tooth from a childhood skateboarding accident she'd mentioned once over lunch. Panic hit like a server crash, but I swallowed it. This was science, reversible. Just play the part, gather intel, swap back enlightened. Day 1 was disorienting. Heels that pinched like accusations, a desk piled with busy work, filing TPS reports while the real decisions happened 30 floors up. Emails from me, Natalie Harper, CEO, demanding revisions on slide decks I'd authored in another life. And then there was Alex, my husband of 12 years, CFO with the boyish grin and the Yale MBA that made him think he ran the show behind my back. We'd met at a tech mixer in San Francisco, bonded over Bad Merlot and dreams of disrupting everything. He was the numbers guy to my vision. I trusted him with the keys to the kingdom. Or so I thought. He sauntered into the assistant pool that afternoon, tie loosened like he'd already conquered the day. Emma, right? He said, leaning on my desk, close enough I could smell his cologne, sandalwood, and betrayal. His eyes flicked over me, lingering in a way that made her skin crawl. Natalie's got me buried in projections. Mind grabbing the quarterly from her office? Discreetly. I nodded, mute, slipping into the executive suite like a ghost. Natalie's office, my office, loomed with its panoramic view of the Santa Cruz Mountains, awards lining the shelves like trophies from a war I was still fighting. The file was on the desk, but so was something else. A burner phone, screen glowing with a text. Tonight? Her flight's delayed. Usual spot. From A. My stomach twisted. Alex. To Emma. I pocketed the phone, heart slamming. Back at my desk, I watched him scroll his own messages, a secret smile playing on his lips. That night, as Emma, I tailed him to the Fairmont in San Jose, The kind of place where Silicon Valley secrets go to die in Egyptian cotton sheets. From the lobby bar, nursing a gin and tonic I couldn't afford on her salary, I saw them. Alex and the real Emma, me in the mirror world, stumbling out of the elevator, laughing like conspirators. His hand on her lower back, guiding her to the valet. My hand. Our hand. Rage boiled, but I tamped it down. Evidence first. Always evidence. I was Natalie Harper, for fuck's sake. The woman who'd outmaneuvered venture capitalists twice her age, turned down Elon Musk's poach attempts with a polite email. I wouldn't let a sleazy affair derail me. But it wasn't just the fucking. It was the whispers I caught the next day, Emma in my body strutting through meetings, dropping hints about restructuring. That smelled like a coup. Alex feeding her data, Emma parroting it back as if it were gospel. They were plotting to oust me, framing it as a mercy kill for a burned-out visionary. Hidden secrets, embezzlement trails in the offshore accounts, patents I'd slaved over now earmarked for a rival firm in Seattle. Alex's firm, post-divorce. By day 3, I was deep in it, hacking Emma's laptop, child's play with my muscle memory, uncovering emails dated months back. She's slipping, babe. We wait for the board vote, then we take it all. Signed, Love. A. The crime I'd borne? Every late night I'd pulled while he golfed with investors, every boardroom battle where I'd shielded his fuck-ups. I'd taken the heat for the 2023 data breach, lied to Congress about our AI ethics lapses, all to protect the golden boy. And for what? So he could bed my assistant and steal my legacy. That confrontation came on Friday, swap deadline looming. I'd cornered him in the parking garage, rain slicking the Tesla Rose like oil on water. Alex, we need to talk, I said in Emma's voice, small and trembling. He turned, annoyance flashing. Not now, Natalie's on a tear upstairs. It's about her. About us. I stepped closer, the words tasting like ash. His eyes narrowed, then softened into that predatory gleam. Us. Look, kid, you're great fun even, but this has to stop. Natalie's no fool. She'll catch on. And you? You're just. You. A temp in the grand scheme. Go find someone who appreciates the little people. He laughed, that charming bark that used to make me melt. Foolish girl, thinking you could play in the big leagues. Pack it up, Emma. Leave before it gets ugly. Ugly. The word hung as he drove off, taillights blurring in the downpour. I stood there, soaked, fists clenched until her nails drew blood. Her blood. Foolish. Little people. The audacity. But, oh, the poetry. Tomorrow, when the headset clicked and souls realigned, he'd learn. I'd be back in my skin, and he'd be the one scrambling. The swap reversal was scheduled for 6 a.m. in the sublevel lab, sterile white walls humming with servers. Dr. Leong, the lead engineer, fitted the headsets. Emma in my body already there, smug as a cat with cream. Ready to trade back, Miss Harper? He asked me. More than ready, she purred, glancing at her watch. No doubt plotting her exit strategy. The jolt hit, darkness swallowing me whole. I woke gasping in my own bed, king-sized, Egyptian cotton, Alex snoring beside the empty space that had been mine. No, not mine anymore. The clock read 7:15. Late for the board meeting. Perfect. I dressed in armor. Charcoal Armani. Louboutins that clicked like gunshots on marble. The drive to HQ was a blur of 101 traffic, bay fog clinging like regret. Security buzzed me through, no questions, because I was Natalie fucking Harper. Elevators whisked me to the penthouse, where the board waited, Alex at the head like he owned the place. He looked up as I entered, coffee midway to his lips. The room fell silent, forks clinking on Danish plates. Net, you're back early. Early, I smiled, cold as a server farm. I've been here all week, darling. Just seeing things from a different angle. Confusion rippled. Emma, no, in her own body now, shifted in the corner, eyes darting. I took my seat, unfolding the burner phone like a deck of cards. Item 1 projections. Emma's got some thoughts on restructuring. Care to elaborate, Em? She stammered. With Alex, we.
We.
I leaned in, voice velvet over steel. As in, the two of you siphoning funds to Cascade Ventures? The patents you tried to ghost? Or the affair that's been lighting up HR's blind spots?
Gasps.
Alex's face went the color of bad code, green and glitchy. Nat, this is insane. Emma's deranged. She's obsessed. Obsessed. I slid the phone across, text blooming like digital poison. Or just in love with a man who calls her foolish behind her back. Board members, if you'd turn to page 17. The meeting devolved into chaos, accusations flying like errant drones. I let it burn, watching Alex squirm, his empire of lies crumbling under the weight of forwarded emails, time-stamped wire transfers. Emma bolted for the door, but my security, hauled her back. Treason in the ranks, I murmured as cuffs clicked. Unacceptable. By noon, they were both in holding, lawyers scrambling. The board voted unanimously. Alex ousted, Emma terminated with extreme prejudice. I stood at the window, city sprawled below like a conquered map, and felt empty. Revenge tasted like ash, too. But damn, it was sweet for those first hours. That night, alone in the penthouse, I poured scotch, neat, 12-year, and replayed the garage scene. His words, foolish girl, mine now to wield. But as the liquor burned, so did the doubt. Was this justice, or just another layer of the game I'd mastered too well? Little did I know, the real twist was just booting up. The fallout from the boardroom bloodbath hit like a Category 5 through Silicon Valley's echo chambers. By evening, TechCrunch had the scoop. HarperTech CEO purges inner circle in dramatic coup, and my inbox overflowed with schadenfreude from rivals who'd long eyed our IP, like vultures on roadkill. Alex's lawyer called at 8 p.m., voice oily as unrefined crude. Natalie, this is a misunderstanding. Let's talk settlement. You know he's irreplaceable. Irreplaceable. I echoed, swirling the scotch in its tumbler, ice clinking like handcuffs. Like the 16 million you funneled offshore? Tell him to enjoy county lockup. It's got better views than the doghouse.
Click.
Disconnect. I laughed, a hollow sound bouncing off the minimalist walls of my Pacific Heights brownstone. The place screamed old money meets new tech. Exposed brick, Eames chairs, a Basquiat screaming silent fury on the wall. Alex had picked the art, back when we were us. Now it mocked me, all that curated perfection hiding the rot. Sleep evaded, chased by ghosts in Emma's voice. Foolish, little people. I padded to the study, firing up the desktop. Echolink files classified. The swap hadn't just shown me betrayal. It had unearthed something uglier, a secret buried deeper than the affair. During my week as Emma, I'd rifled her drawers, found a thumb drive labeled Legacy. Cracked it open, not just embezzlement docs but R&D memos. Echolink wasn't my baby. It was Alex's side hustle, pitched to the board as empathy tech but coded for permanence. Mind swaps, indefinite. A tool for corporate espionage, slipping execs into rivals' heads to steal secrets from the inside. And the test subject? Not some lab rat. Me. They dosed my latte that Monday morning, Emma's sleight of hand during the briefing. The week was a lie, reversal hinged on a kill switch only Alex controlled. I'd woken in her body not by accident, but design, to discredit me, paint the CEO as unstable, then rescue the company with Emma as puppet queen. Chills spidered my arms. The crime I'd shouldered? My entire career built on sand. The 2019 antitrust probe? Alex's doing, framing me to dodge his insider trading. The anonymous leaks to the FTC about our facial rec biases? Him again, softening me up for the kill. I'd taken the hits, testified in D.C., lost sleep over ethics panels, all while he played the loyal husband at home, whispering you're too soft for this game, Nat. Motive crystallized, power.
Pure unadulterated.
Emma was the spark, young, hungry, fucking her way up the ladder, but Alex was the architect, a Mephistopheles in khakis. He'd married me for the stock options, betted her for the thrill, and plotted our mutual end for the throne. Dawn broke gray and relentless, fog rolling in off the bay like a shroud. I called my fixer, Raoul, a ex-fed with a Rolodex dirtier than a dive bar floor. Dig deeper on Alex. Everything. And get me a warrant on that kill switch code.
Risky, met så vitenskapelig.
If it's federal. It is. Do it. By 10 a.m., I was back at HQ, the office a hive of whispers and sidelong glances. Loyalists rallied, VP of Engineering with her rainbow pins and zero bullshit vibe, CFO interim already crunching the damage. We locked down servers, purged access logs. Emma's desk, sealed like a crime scene, forensics combing for prints on that thumb drive. Alex's arraignment was a circus, paparazzi swarming the courthouse steps like drones on a glitch. I watched from the back row, incognito in oversized shades and a trench. He looked smaller and orange, that Yale polish dulled. When the judge read the charges, wire fraud, conspiracy, identity tampering, his eyes found mine across the room. Not pleading. Defiant. You think this ends me? It didn't. Not yet. The revenge proper kicked off that afternoon, in a windowless conference room dubbed the bunker. I assembled the War Council. Raoul, Liang from R&D, who'd spilled the swap tampering after a nudge from HR, and a hacker kid named Jax, 22 with blue hair and a grudge against big tech from his Berkeley days. Echolink's core is a neural mapper, Liang explained, holograms flickering blue over the table. Swaps are meant to be transient, but Alex embedded a demon, malware, basically. It latches post-jolt, reroutes the link. Reversal? Only if you have the key phrase. Which is? I pressed. He hesitated, tied to biometrics. His voice, saying legacy complete. But he's in custody. Deep fake it. Jax grinned, fingers flying. I've got voice synths that fool Siri on a bad day. We worked through the night, coffee four-dripped, pizza boxes piling like fallen soldiers. By 3 a.m., Jax had the audio. Alex's voice from a wedding toast, spliced and polished. Legacy complete. I donned the headset in the lab, electrodes kissing my temples like Judas. The jolt ripped through, but no darkness.
Just
Echoes. Flashes of Emma's memories bleeding into mine, her shitty childhood in Fresno, clawing for scholarships, the night Alex first charmed her at the holiday gala, promising the stars if she'd just play along. Not love. Transaction. She'd borne the mistake too, believing his lies, gifting him access to my calendar, my trust. Swap stabilized, but fractured. I pulled the headset, sweating, Liang's face pale.
It's
partial. You're you, but echoes linger.
permanent bleed. Good.
Let them. Emma's fire would fuel the inferno. First strike, the presser. I faced the cameras at noon, board flanking me like sentinels. HarperTech stands for Innovation with Integrity, I said, voice steady as the Golden Gate cables. Today, we expose a breach, not in code, but in character. My husband, Alexander Grant, abused our tech for personal gain. We've terminated ties, frozen assets, and are cooperating fully with authorities. Questions pelted like rain. Is the marriage over? Echolink scrapped? I fielded them with surgical precision, dropping just enough, text redacted for court, to paint Alex the villain, Emma the dupe. By evening, Harper Betrayal trended, stock dipped then rebounded on sympathy buys. Moral high ground?
Check.
But revenge isn't a sprint, it's a marathon through moral gray. That night, alone again, I cracked Emma's drive wider. Buried folders, not just our secrets, but hers. Blackmail files on board members, affairs, bribes, the VP who'd fudged diversity stats for grants. Alex's web spun wide. And one file, Natalie_origin, PDF. Heart stuttered. I clicked. It was a birth certificate. Not mine. Emily Klein, born 1983, Sacramento. Wait. Emma's age was 28. This Emily was 42. My age. Photo attached. A baby, swaddled, with my husband's eyes.
No.
Alex's eyes. The room spun. Legacy wasn't the company. It was blood. Twist hit like a system reboot. Emma wasn't the mistress. She was the daughter. Our daughter, given up at birth. The miscarriage Alex had consoled me through in '83, pre-marriage. He'd tracked her, groomed her, twisted her into his weapon. The affair? Incestuous ploy, or worse, insurance. If I fell, she'd inherit unchallenged his puppet bloodline. Sickness rose, bile and betrayal. I'd borne the wrong crime all these years. Not just his infidelity, but the secret of our lost child, hidden to protect his spotless resume. He'd let me grieve a lie while raising her in shadows for his endgame. The decision loomed, controversial as hell. Expose it all, shatter 3 lives? Or wield it, let the rot fester for my gain? Power's a drug, kids. And I was hooked. Power corridors in Silicon Valley aren't glass and steel. They're the invisible threads of who owes what to whom. By week 2 post-swap, I tugged everyone, watching Alex's world unravel like a poorly coded app. His assets frozen, lawyers bleeding him dry at $1,200 an hour, whispers and investor ears turning to outright shuns. No more TEDx invites, no VC mixers where bros in hoodies slap backs over seed rounds. He was radioactive and I was the half-life. But the daughter bomb? That festered. I visited Emma in county, separated by plexiglass and regret. She looked small in the jumpsuit, Bob Askew, green eyes, my eyes, darting like cornered prey. Miss Harper, she started, voice cracking. I swear it wasn't. Natalie, I corrected, picking up the receiver. Or Mom, if the DNA swab roll ran holds up. Her flinch confirmed it. 24 hours and the lab results burned in my purse. 99.9% match. Sisters?
No.
Mother-daughter. She crumpled, tears streaking. He said you didn't want me. That the miscarriage was mercy. Too young, too ambitious for a kid. He found me at 18, promised tuition if I helped. Said it was family business. Family. The word twisted like barbed wire. I'd mourned that phantom loss in '83, fresh out of Stanford, building Harpertech's first prototype in a cramped apartment while Alex climbed ladders elsewhere. We'd reconnected at a conference, sparks over shared scars. Or so I thought. He'd known all along, dangled the secret like a carrot, then weaponized it.
Why?
I whispered, hating the plea in my voice. The swap, the plots, did you know it was me in there? She shook her head. Just that you'd break, under stress. He dosed you, said it'd look like a breakdown. I handled the files, thought it was corporate shit.
Not this.
Sobs hitched.
I'm sorry.
For everything. Pity warred with fury. She'd borne his sins too. Groomed from girlhood. Traded dreams for daddy's approval. Controversial call. Mercy or justice. I could have buried it. Let her rot with him. Instead, I slid a card under the glass. Call this number. Raoul. He'll get you a deal. Testify, full immunity. But you tell everything. No half-truths. She nodded, clutching the card like a lifeline. As guards led her away, I felt the echo bleed. Her fear, my grief, twinned in one fractured soul. Back home, the penthouse echoed emptier, ghosts in every corner. I pored over the legacy files, piecing the mosaic. Alex's first betrayal, faking the miscarriage records at a shady clinic, pocketing adoption fees meant for me. Then, years later, engineering our marriage, subtle nudges at events, positioning himself as the steady hand. The company? His long con, using my vision to build his nest egg, all while seating Emma as heir apparent. The swap was checkmate. Discredit the queen, crown the princess, retire to Cayman shadows. But I'd flipped the board. With Emma's testimony cued, I greenlit the kill switch deepfake, Jax's synth voice echoing in the lab. Legacy complete. The demon purged, echoes fading, but not before one last gift. Alex's memories, bleeding through the link. Flashes. Him holding newborn Emily, bargaining with the agency. Our wedding, toasting with poisoned intent. The night he first bedded her, whispering, "This is how we win, kiddo." Incest? No. Calculated violation. Blurring lines for control. Sick fuck. The climax brewed in a rented warehouse on the Dumbarton Bridge, neutral ground where tech titans settle scores off books. Alex's people reached out via back channels. One meet.
No caps.
I agreed. Wired for sound. Jack's in a van with drones overhead. Dusk fell heavy, salt air thick with eucalyptus and lies. He arrived in a blacked-out Escalade, cuffs off on bail, eyed mysteriously, overlooked contesting. Older in the dim light, lines etched deeper, that grin a ghost.
Net so videnskapelig.
You look radiant. Save the charm, Alex. We're past foreplay. We circled a folding table, like gunfighters in a bad western. The charge a stick? He asked, casual as ordering foe.
Guide froth?
Conspiracy? They'll bury you. But Emma's singing, everything. The clinic, the grooming. Our daughter. His mask slipped, just a twitch. Daughter? That's dramatic. She was a tool like you. Useful until not. Rage surged, hot and unfiltered. Controversial urge. Lunge. Throttle the truth out. Instead, I hit play on the tablet, his voice, synthetic. Legacy complete. But twisted, looped with confessions pulled from the bleed. I faked it all. The loss, the love. For the power. His eyes widened. What the? Insurance, I said, echoing his garage dismissal. You taught me well. This drops if you don't confess. Full on camera. Rot in Supermax, or fade quietly. Your call. He lunged, chair scraping, hands clawing for the device. Jax's drone feed caught it all. Scuffle. My heel connecting with his knee, him crumpling with a yelp. No blood. Just the crack of bone. The thud of fallen king. Guards, my guards, swarmed, zip ties biting. As they dragged him, he spat. You're no better, Nat. This company's built on my bones, too. You'll crumble without me. Doubt flickered. Was he right? The empire I'd forged on ambition, now stained with vengeance. But I held the tablet, his digital noose, and pressed send to the feds. By midnight, it was done. Confession uploaded, Emma's deal sealed, headlines shifting. HarperTech founder exposes decade-long fraud. Stock soared, board hailed me savior. Victory lap, champagne at the Battery, toasts to resilience. But in the mirror of the ladies' lounge, Emma's echo lingered. Foolish girl.
Was I?
The tension coiled tighter, shadows lengthening. One loose thread. Why fake the miscarriage at all? Legacy files hinted at more. A prior wife, perhaps? Or deeper, a family curse of cutthroat climbs. I pushed it down, focused on the rebuild. New hires, ethics overhaul, Echolink shelved for good. Life normalized, or its facsimile. Dates with a venture scout who quoted Rumi, runs along the Embarcadero at sunrise. Until a call at 3 a.m., 3 weeks post-warehouse. Unknown number. Ms. Harper? This is Detective Vasquez, SFPD. We need you downtown. Regarding Alexander Grant. Downtown SFPD smelled like stale donuts and desperation. The interrogation room a concrete box with one-way glass and regrets etched in the table's gouges. Vasquez was mid-40s, Latina with a no-nonsense bun and eyes that had seen too many valley implosions. She slid a folder across. Case 47 to 892. Homicide. Homicide. My voice cracked, the echo bleed tingling like phantom limb. Alex is in custody. Was, she corrected, flipping to a photo. Grainy CCTV. The warehouse lot, post-scuffle. Him, staggering to the Escalade then. Slumping against the wheel. Medical examiner's prelim. Heart attack or induced cardiac event. Poison, slow acting, from the scotch at our meet? No. The warehouse had been clean, my people thorough. We pulled tox, Vasquez said. Ricin derivative, trace amounts. Administered days prior. Your prints aren't on the vial we found in his car, but proximity. I laughed, sharp and disbelieving. You're accusing me? After I handed you the confession on a platter? Not accusing.
Questioning.
He named you in a suicide note, penned pre-arrest, tucked in his safe. Called you the Switch, ranted about stolen souls. Sound familiar? The folder's next page. Alex's scrawl, looping and frantic. She took everything, my body, my blood. The swap wasn't tech, it was her all along. Emily's mine, not yours. The real legacy. I killed the baby. To free us both. World tilted.
Killed the baby.
Not faked.
Actual.
The miscarriage induced his hand. To free me for the grind. Or him from the burden. The echo screamed. Emma's memories, now mine, of a girl piecing daddy's puzzles, never knowing the blood on his ledger. Twist reversed, truth inverted like a bad algorithm. I wasn't the betrayed wife, the vengeful mom. I was the mark, twice over. Alex hadn't groomed Emma for coup. He'd protected her from me, the workaholic who'd have repeated his sins. The swap? His Hail Mary, forcing me to feel the little people pain, hoping empathy would dull my blade. But I'd sharpened it, killed the killer in cold calculation. Vasquez leaned in. Off the record? Guy was scum, fraud, manipulation, the works. But this? If you're clean, walk. If not, well, ricin ain't subtle. I walked. Outside, fog swallowed the streets, sodium lamps haloing like accusations. Raoul waited in the Lincoln, engine purring. Clean, he asked. Clean enough. I slid in, directing to the bridge. Dumbarton again. The warehouse loomed, a skeleton in the salt marsh. I stepped out, wind whipping, and screamed into the void, raw, primal, echoing Emma's lost cries, Alex's final gasp. Back home, decisions crystallized, controversial to the core. Expose the full truth? Tabloids would feast. Tech queen's dark family secret. Infanticide cover-up? Emma free, but scarred forever. Or bury it deeper. Wield the void as armor. I chose the gray. Anonymous donation to adoption reform, a scholarship in Emily's name, middle ground, debatable salvation. Months blurred. Harpertech thrived. AI pivoting to therapy bots, irony's gift. I dated sparingly, found solace in therapy. Yes, even CEOs crack. Emma? Transferred to a halfway in Oakland, studying coding, meets tentative coffees at Phil's, rebuilding bridges from ash. Ending? Not happy, not tragic, just American as apple pie and arsenic. Messy, resilient, ripe for debate. Did I win revenge, or birth a new monster? Was Alex the villain, or the mirror I shattered? Power's price is the soul you swap away, piece by fractured piece. Last echo faded on a crisp October dawn, running the Bay Trail, salt air cleansing. Foolish? Maybe, but alive. And that's the ultimate hack.